I still remember the day I saw my wife using a dirty cloth during her periods. It was so worn out, so old, that no one would have used it to clean a bicycle. Yet she washed it quietly and dried it secretly, hidden beneath other clothes so no one would see. I loved her, and I couldn't look away. So I walked into a medical store and asked for a sanitary pad. The shopkeeper stared at me like I had said something wrong. He handed it over like it was something illegal. 55 rupees for cloth and cotton. When I got home and opened it, that is all it was. Cloth, cotton, simple materials, and something clicked inside me. I can make this, so I did. My first pad cost just 2 rupees to produce. I gave it to my wife and waited. The next morning, she told me it had leaked and stained her clothes. I was disappointed, but I didn't stop. I kept trying, kept improving, but my wife refused to test it again. She said I was interfering in women's matters, so I did something that made my entire village think I had lost my mind. I tested it myself. I poured drops of blood onto the pad, wore it, and jumped around to check how it performed. I thought it was working perfectly. I rode my bicycle home, only to discover my pants were completely stained. Embarrassed and confused, I jumped into a nearby river. The water turned red. A crowd gathered. People whispered. Then they started laughing. Then they decided I was crazy. And then my wife left. She packed her things and went to her parents' home. My heart broke in a way I had never felt before. I left the village and moved to the city. I visited factories. I studied every pad available in the market. That is when I discovered the real secret. They used fiber, not cotton. Completely different material. I researched everything I could find. Rented a small space, built a simple machine with my own hands, softened the fiber, compressed it, shaped it, and tested it again. This time, it worked. An affordable sanitary pad that performed just as well as the expensive ones. 2 rupees to produce. I entered an innovation competition and stood in front of judges and told them the truth. A market pad costs 52 rupees. Mine costs 2. A female judge tested it herself. It passed. I won. Large companies came forward wanting to partner with me, but I turned them down. I went back to my village because the goal was never money. The goal was the woman drying a dirty cloth secretly beneath other clothes, hoping no one would notice. I didn't just make a pad. I taught women how to manufacture it themselves, how to sell it, how to build something of their own. Hundreds of women across villages became financially independent because of a machine one man built in a rented room after his wife left and his neighbors called him crazy. They called it a small invention, but for the women who no longer had to hide, it was everything.